is Educational Research Hub live chat for project writing. Welcome to this live chat. I welcome you all from all over the world converged on this channel for this singular purpose of discussing research project writing topics. Today I'm very excited because we are going to be going into questions and answers bordering on research project writing. So if you are there, or you have seen the thumbnail earlier on, you've gotten a notification on your YouTube app, then come online with certain questions that are very important as it concerns research project writing. Okay, so I'm very excited this night. I would really love to get questions, and I would love to have very active members of the group online chatting on this particular matter or on this particular topic. Okay, so thank you very much for all those who have subscribed to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that now by clicking the subscription button below and endeavor to drop your comment, smash a like on the video. It is very important for the channel to grow. Please subscribe to the channel. Okay, now in today's live chat, I want us to ask and answer some questions that border on research project writing. So it's going to be a very brief one. We are going to talk with ourselves on this particular matter. So I remain Dr. John Effiong Hussein, your research consultant. Please come online with me to discuss this particular or to chat on this particular topic, where we shall be answering questions you ask, and I shall be asking questions I expect you to answer as it concerns research project writing. So I've taken note of some questions I would love to ask us. Let's start with the very first one. What is a research? Now, to give you a very general opinion on what a research is, let's start with that particular question. And I'm so particular about it because that is where everything about research project writing begins. So if you are to understand how to write a research project, or you are to understand how or what we mean by a research project writing process, then you must understand the key word, which is research. So what is a research? Now remember, a research is an investigation. Okay, it is an investigation or an inquiry. And take note, I emphasized in my earlier videos on research that research is not just any kind of investigation. It is not just any kind of inquiry. Research is a systematic investigation. Now, if you have followed my videos on what is a research, then you check that out and let's go forward. Okay, so let's start with answering the first question. What is a research? So I'm saying research is a systematic inquiry or a systematic investigation on a subject matter with the aim of achieving two things. If you carry out a systematic inquiry or a systematic investigation on a subject matter, then it's possible that your intention falls into either of two categories. Number one, it may just be that you want to discover knowledge. Or number two, it may also be that you want to improve upon an existing knowledge. In other words, you want to modify the results of previous works done by people related to what you're about to do now. So, and in that case, it means probably that the method or the results they got, you've come to realize can be made better, can be improved, can be modified. And that means that when carrying out what is called a research, which happens to be a systematic investigation, a systematic study, a systematic inquiry on a subject matter, it means that you want to achieve either of two things. You want to unravel or discover new knowledge, or you just might want to modify an existing knowledge. And by modification, I mean improve upon an existing result or existing knowledge, or make an existing knowledge better. Okay, So now I hope you got that the answer to that question. So if you have a contrasting opinion on that matter or on my response, then please drop your comment in the comment section below. Now that brings me to question number 2. Remember, I told you I had jotted down some questions I would love to talk about, or just to have a recap on this channel and on this live chat tonight. So the first question was, what is a research? Now, the reason why it is good for somebody or anybody watching this right now, or anybody that will be watching this later on, to understand why it is important to understand what a research is simple. It is because you just cannot be writing a research project without even knowing what a research means. So if you are writing a research project or you want to carry out an investigation, then you must know what a research means. Now, some people feel or may define a research to just be an investigation or an inquiry, and I am saying no to that answer. It must be a technical or a systematic investigation. So the word or that qualification there of those terms is very, very important. Research must be systematic, and by systematic we mean that research must follow a procedure. So if you are making an investigation on a subject matter with the aim of trying to acquire new knowledge or modify existing knowledge, then you must know that there is a procedure to follow. So research must actually begin at one point, pass through several structured points, and then arrive at a conclusion. Okay, so it means that research must be systematic. Okay, now having said that, let's not overflog that matter. Let's go to the next question I have and I want to discuss with you on tonight's live chat. Now, what is a research project? What is a research project? Now, if you also had followed the video we made on what a research project is, or what research project writing is all about, then you must have heard me talk about research project being a documentation. Okay, it is a documentation of a research. It is a documentation or a report of a research you had carried out on a subject matter with the aim of leading to new knowledge or modified knowledge. So a research project is simply a documentation of the findings or of the results of your study, investigation, or inquiry on a subject matter which was aimed at leading to new knowledge or modified knowledge. Okay, now, so that is what a research project is. And in my video on research project, I told you something about the perception people have about a research project. Please take notes. An MSc thesis is a research project. An undergraduate project is a research project. A PhD project is a research project. A PhD dissertation or a PhD thesis is a research project. Now, all of them are reports of the findings of a research carried out at these levels I have just mentioned. Now, irrespective of the names they bear, because of the level of academics the student might be studying, irrespective of that, it still refers to one and the same thing in content and structure. So a research project will be called at a PhD level a dissertation or a thesis. It will be called at an MSc level a dissertation or a thesis. It will be called at an undergraduate level a research project. It will be called at a postgraduate diploma level a research project or a thesis. Now, whether it is called a thesis, dissertation, or a normal research project, it means one and the same thing. So a research project can find itself at each of these levels but remains in content and structure what we refer to as a research project. So whether you're doing a PhD, you must be writing a research project. Whether you're doing an MSc, you will be writing a research project. Whether it is an undergraduate program you're about to wrap up, it is a research project you will be writing. So research project is a general name for these documentations I've mentioned, irrespective of the level of academics. Okay? Now, that being said, now that you know what research is, or you are being reminded about what research is, and you've also been reminded about what a research project is, let's now go to the next question I have put down here. We will be having these sessions probably frequently. I would love to be having question and answer sessions on research and research project writing in general. So I would love to be having these sessions. If you're watching this video, probably you are not watching it, you're not going to be watching it live, you'll be watching it after now. Please take note of this, that every 8 p.m. on this channel will be coming up to discuss research project writing, and the thumbnail will tell you when that will happen. The thumbnail will tell you what we will be discussing. So I would love to be having question and answer sessions on research project writing on this channel every 8 p.m. Okay, so when I feel like doing that, I'll put it on the thumbnail, and you will get a notification in your YouTube app. Okay, so please, when you get that notification, please do well to come online and chat with us, and asking questions and answering questions we have. Okay, so your comments are that important. So please, to this video, I would love you to really drop comments based on what I am discussing right now, just in case you are not watching it live. And if you're watching it live, please drop your comments. I'll really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Now, let's go to the third question. What chapters make up my research project? So, some time ago, I made a video on a typical research project, and I would want you to check that out in the comment in my videos. Okay, so go to my channel, click on videos, scroll down, and search for a typical research project. Now, in that video on a typical research project, I discussed the general idea, the perception of what is called a typical research project. So what's the typical research project? Okay, now, what is called a typical research project is a documentation summarizing a project, usually in 5 chapters. So a typical research project is a documentation of the results or findings of a research, summarized in usually 5 chapters. Now, in my discussion in that video, I told students and I told people who watched that video that a typical research project comprising 5 chapters usually starts with what is called a chapter 1, titled The Introduction. And then it proceeds to a chapter 2, titled Literature Review, and to a chapter 3, titled Research Methodology, a chapter 4 that may be called Data Analysis and Interpretation and Discussion of Findings, or that may be called Implementation, depending on what kind of project you are writing. And then summarized or climaxing in a chapter 5 that is usually called or titled Summary, Conclusion, and Recommendations. Okay, so far so good on this channel. We have talked about the chapter 1 of a typical research project. What components should make up the chapter 1? What subtopics should someone writing a research project locate or put into their chapter 1? We have also discussed chapter 2 being the literature review, and I told you it comprises 3 components. So to answer the question, what chapters make up my research project? Please, there are typically 5 chapters that make up your research project. Now, in my videos all along, I have been saying this again and again, that in some fields of academics, such as in engineering, you may have research projects that are structured in a manner that make them consist of more than 5 chapters. Some would consist of 6 chapters, some would consist of 7 chapters, as the case may be. That does not mean that they have no right to put the documentation in 6 chapters, 7 chapters. No. There is flexibility, there is room for flexibility in putting up a research project. So that is usually based on the demand of your supervisor, or it is based on the demand of the department, the faculty, or the institution you may be finding yourself. You may be carrying out that research from. Okay, so research projects must not be structured or restricted to 5 chapters. they can go beyond 5 chapters depending on the demand of your supervisor or the faculty, the department, the school, or the institution you may be writing your research project in. Okay, now, so that being said, let's go to the next question. How do I write my research project? Now, this is one thing I really would want to discuss quickly and explicitly. Now, if you are watching this video live or you'll be watching it later on, then take these points down. I can tell you for a fact that so many students do not know how to write research projects. Now, there is nothing bad in consulting an expert